Hello everybody, welcome into Rock Painting 101. If you're catching the replay, thanks for watching. Feel free to comment below questions or say hi. We come back through and I read all those comments after the fact if you are indeed watching the replay. So not last week, 2 weeks ago, I didn't have a live last week, so 2 weeks ago we did these beautiful pour painted stones. So if you didn't catch that live, I'll come back after this video and add it in the comments, but we did these fun fall colored pour painted rocks. So today we are going to, I guess you could say, embellish them. We can come in and we're going to add, we're going to do 2 word rocks and one with like a fun, simple pumpkin. So one of the things I like to do when I'm going to do word rocks is I plan ahead. I sometimes visually cannot see size-wise what I want my letters to be. So I do a really quick sketch on, say, a piece of paper or a Post-it note to make sure that my size is gonna look well. So I don't like to start writing on my rocks and I have a word here and then it ends and I have all this extra space. So the first one we're gonna do is gonna be really simple, perfect for the season. We're just gonna do a give thanks rock. And I like to mix up my lettering. I'm not a hand lettering expert by any means. And so sometimes I only like to have one word on the rock that is really extra beautiful in script. It makes it a little easier for me to not have mistakes. So I'm just gonna do a simple all cap letter, give, and it's going to be kind of smaller, and then we're going to have thanks be larger. So I'm kind of gauging the size of my rock here while I'm writing my thanks nice and large, but we're just going to do it on here first just so I can see, oh, it needs to be a little bit bigger, and I'm literally going to write it kind of sloppy, just really quick, almost like a standard cursive. So boom, just like that. So I know, okay, that looks like it will fit. So when I go to my rock, I know about the size of the first letter that I need to do. So it's just a little something. If you can go right on your rocks, go right on your rocks. If you're really nervous about going with a paint pen directly on your rock, you can lightly sketch words with pencil first. But off to the side here, I've got a few Q-tips and some water. If you make a mistake, if you get to it really quickly, if you're using just like a black 1M paint pen or something like that, if you make an error, get a little water on there and you can wipe it up really quick. Here, I'll even show you. See if you kind of, oh, I don't like that spot. Just a little bit of water on the Q-tip and you can just go right to it, kind of wiggle, 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 then flip it over and use the back side so you can kind of erase it back off as long as you get to it quickly. So we are going to go ahead and start this rock. So again, we're just going to write give. Now the one thing you have to remember sometimes when you're using paint pens is as much as you want to get really flowy and cursive-y, sometimes that can cause them to splatter. So sometimes you got to break apart the shapes a little bit. So we're just going to give. That. And also light on the pressure. I always say the paint wants to be on that rock, so you don't have to press extremely hard to get that on there. You guys see, look, I had extra coffee today with my girlfriends and I have a little bit of a shaky hands today, so I'm going to be extra careful here. Okay. And I like to do my cursive a little bit wider than normal so that I can go back and add depth to some of the lines, and you'll see that here in a moment. So make sure I've got a good angle here for you to see. So, I mean, we're going back to kind of old school cursive style here, and you're gonna have some lumps and bumps. And like I said, I still am picking up my pen. Even though in regular cursive you normally wouldn't too much, you can connect them all back together here in a moment. Alright, so we've got our main letters on there, a little wobbly in a couple spots, but we're going to go back in and add some thickness to it. So feel free to say hi if you're dropping in. I just saw you up there, Jenny. Hi, Debbie. Thanks for joining in together, guys. So now, basically, a rule of thumb I like to go for is the downward lines. You can make those thicker first. So we're just going to start going through and making some of those lines wider, and then I fill in after. Sometimes I do it as I go along. This is the downward. And you can also use these lines to kind of clean up some areas that might have been a little bumpy. And you can use that to attach letters together as well. So that goes up, but then it comes back down. And now we can connect these two together. That goes up and back down. Okay, and then you can go in and fill carefully those areas on your rock, and you can kind of smooth out. I got a couple little bumps on that H as well. I love my coffee, but it's not helping me out today. Should have planned better. Fix that edge. Let's fill in any of those areas and get a little bit thicker. Okay, simple as that. Give thanks. And now you've got your poured rock that has just a little bit of embellishment to it. Super simple and easy to do. And again, I know there's a lot of people here that weren't here at the beginning. We poured these rocks 2 weeks ago. So if you've never watched like an acrylic pouring tutorial for base coating your rocks, I will come back and add the link to this post once we are done. All right, so we're gonna move this guy here off to the side and move on to this one. So this one, I've got one big word that I'm gonna put in the middle. I want this one to say, see the beauty and change, because I mean, that's kind of what fall is. The leaves are changing, the weather is changing, but there's so much beauty in it. And it's also a good kindness message for somebody to find. So when I'm gonna have a big word in the center of two little ones, I always write that word on there first, and then I'll add the small words on top and below it. So we're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna write the word beauty here in the middle, and I've got a couple little spots I wanna avoid here. But again, just kind of draw it on with your basic cursive. Lifting every once in a while, and then you can come back and attach them. I guess it's more like when you were learning cursive and you did all the letters with monkey tails. Do you remember that? Showing my age, yes. See, and I don't like to swoop around all in one solid. Sometimes it really will kind of mess up on you, so it's okay to pick up. All right, cross our T. And then as we come through here, we can add these lines that kind of connect everything together. Okay. And now we're going to do the same thing by thickening up these letters, but I'm going to write the rest of the words on here. And I'm just going to do the same style of writing I did on this one up here. I like breaking it apart. And like I said earlier, there's less chances of error if you don't have the whole thing in script for somebody that is not super comfortable with the kind of hand lettering style. So I'm gonna do an in change down here. So I gotta make sure I have room for both of those words. So I could go back and do it on a piece of paper first as well, or you could go on with pencil first, but I'm pretty sure I can fit it in here okay. And then see at the top here. And I don't know if you can tell, we used a little, oh, that's not very pretty, hold on. So a little bit of water on my Q-tip here. Just gonna come and wipe that off, get it wet, and then flip it over to the clean side here. You have to get to it pretty quick. Of course, it's setting. Smudge that one more too. There's a little bit of gold in here, so these have this light little shimmer to them. Okay, so see, I'm gonna what's with me and my E's today? All right, so again, the downward lines, we're gonna thicken them up. And you can do that just by placing a line next to it and then filling it in. So it'd be just kind of these arches here, to get a little thicker. Try not to get these horizontal lines too thick. Sometimes it's easier just to add the extra. Good. All right, so when you're going on your other letters, you can go to the left or the right depending on where the space is. See the E, if I go too much to the left, I'm gonna hit the B. So I'm gonna actually pull it inward a little bit to thicken it up. Being careful not to close it in completely. And just gonna go like this. Basically just want to make sure that your thicker lines are enough to cause the contrast between the thin lines. There's rock number 2. So we'll move that one off to the side here. There we go. The last one we're going to do isn't lettering. So some people, no matter how much you try, how much you practice, you just can't feel like you get your letters to look the way you want them to. And that's fine. Trust me, you are not alone. I'm still kind of shaky myself, as you can see on some of them. So we're just going to do a really fun, it's almost like a doodle style pumpkin. You can kind of get away with some not perfect lines, so they're really good for beginners to do, and they look great on these rocks when you have this fun, cool background. So we're just going to build our pumpkin. You've seen me build these a lot of times before. I always start with my football. It looks like it's standing up on its side. And with this, I use very sketchy lines. We're going to go out to the left, out to the right, one more out to that left side, one more out to the right side with these sketchy lines. You can even add a little bit of sketching along the bottom, like a shadow. And then we're going to create our stem right on our pumpkin like that. And then we're going to add some vines on it as well. Okay, and then I'm going to sketch back over all of these lines, trying not to actually go right on top of the lines. Kind of pull off to either side, almost in this little hashing type motion. I'm going to do the same thing here, filling this in halfway, kind of almost quickly. And then my vine is going to be a little bit thicker at the top, so I'm going to add some thickness at the top, pulling away. And then add that on there as well. And I know that was so fast, but it looks so cute on these poor painted rocks. So if you're not comfortable with lettering, you could definitely do something like that as well. So those are, here, I'll turn my paper here. Those are our 3 poured rocks from last week. Again, I will come back and add the link for that live in case you missed it the first time. So that's it today, you guys. Super quick and easy. I'm going to start filming some Christmas rocks and winter rocks here soon. This is pretty much wrapping up probably the last fall and fall themed rocks that I'm going to be doing this year at least, unless something really screams that I have to do it. So thanks to everybody that joined in live today. Thanks for all the thumbs ups and hearts. I see them popping up. They kind of bubble up on the bottom right hand side of my screen. If I missed any questions in the comments, I will come back through and read them later. And we will be back next Thursday with another live tutorial for beginners here on Rock 101. All right, bye-bye guys.